If you're tired of creating content that disappears in 24 hours, this is your episode. I'm sitting down today with Meredith Marsh, a YouTube strategist, to talk about why YouTube is becoming one of the most powerful discoverability tools that travel advisors are ignoring. And listen, I'm not anti-Instagram or social media as a whole. They're great for that real-time connection, to be able to build that relationship. But YouTube, that's a platform that's going to keep working long after you've hit publish. I'm talking weeks, months, even years from now. Your future clients can still find you, even when you're completely off the clock. So let's get into how travel advisors just like you can finally make that work for them.
This is the Art of Selling Travel Podcast. And here to guide you through it all, your host, Glenda Beagle.
Hey, Meredith, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Glenda.
So you have this saying this year about going all in on YouTube in 2026.
Yes.
And, you might be listening to me right now in the car, or you might be watching us on YouTube. And Meredith is partly to blame for that.
You're welcome.
But really and truly, it's a number of things. YouTube has been around a long time. And unlike so many of the other ones that kind of come up and down, I feel like YouTube stays steady or even just consistently still even climbs up higher, because if you get a smart TV, you don't see Facebook or Instagram on that smart TV. You see YouTube on there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that is true.
So for travel advisors, they're probably thinking, but how do I use YouTube? Because it's really easy to post a picture on Instagram or put a good caption or something. How would a travel advisor look at YouTube and actually be able to use it?
Yeah, so I'm assuming you mean to use it to grow their business, get clients, get, be able to have people to work with in their business, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I think one of the things that stands out to me for your industry on YouTube is the clientele is like researching everything, right? Like where to go, what cruise to go on, what destinations, what do I need to pack, what do I need to bring, what do I need to know, how does customs work, blah 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 blah, like everything. You have to research all of that ahead of time. And so being the person that shows up with the answers is the key to making YouTube work for you, because now you're the expert on this thing, on this destination or this resort brand or this cruise brand or this maybe type of travel. You become the expert. And so you have the answers to the questions. You can now lead them to your business, your services, what it is that you provide for people. After they found you, I like to say YouTube is the let them come to you platform. They found you and you delivered the goods. And now that, like, who else would they choose to work with other than you? So I think there are some industries I think that YouTube is like just really well suited for, and travel I think is one of them. And it's, at the end of the day, it's a search engine. It's the second largest search engine in the world. It's owned by Google, and ChatGPT also indexes YouTube videos. So even people who are searching for stuff with AI, trying to find a travel itinerary or, like 10 places to go if I want beaches in February or something. Even if they're using ChatGPT or Gemini or Perplexity, those tools are indexing YouTube videos to get the information. And so they link back to you. So at the end of the day, it's this is why I call it let them come to you platform. It's people are searching for answers, searching for solutions, and finding you in that way. And the way you show up is as the expert, as the person with those solutions.
That makes so much sense. In fact, in the last little while, especially off of my phone, I find when I Google something because I want to, get a quick answer, I feel like nowadays I get so many more YouTube videos almost than I do articles. Whereas before, I felt like YouTube, yeah, there might have been one or two in there, but
Hmm.
now, I don't even remember what I was Googling. It was something on the weekend, and I had like one or two articles, and then it was like 12 YouTube videos to choose from on
Hmm.
this topic. And I was like, oh, interesting. And so, yeah, sure enough, I went to YouTube. And the other thing, YouTube also, too, um, put me straight to that point in that conversation. It didn't make me watch the
Oh,
whole video.
yeah.
It took me straight to that spot.
Yeah. Yeah. And because every video you upload to YouTube is automatically transcribed. And so it depends on the search query, I think, what Google decides to like, let's just give them a list of articles versus let's give them these YouTube videos. Sometimes it's here's a video, you hit play, it doesn't even take you to YouTube. The
Mm-hmm.
video is on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
but it just kind of loads in Google and
Yeah.
loads in that spot
Yeah.
where the question is answered. And so it does kind of depend on the query a little bit, but because you're, back in the day, I don't even know when YouTube started transcribing videos, but it's been a while now. But, back in the day, you would want to make a video and then write a blog post so that you have it in text, all of the keywords and everything you're saying. So you had kind of like a double whammy approach to getting in search results. And now your video already is text. It's already there for Google and all of the search tools to know what's being said. And I think there's also, because of AI, there's a little bit of a shift in like maybe like the context of the searching is it's more natural language, which is
Mm-hmm.
how it would be if you're speaking
Yeah.
on camera versus like, well, I'm going to write this thing, the way my 12th grade English teacher would approve of, like that's way different than how it's going to come out of your mouth in a video. But yet, the way it comes out of your mouth in a video is the way that people are thinking in their head. That's what
Yep.
they're typing into Chat GPT. And I even find myself, it used to be like, because I know about SEO, if I want to search for something in Google, I just put in the keywords. Most people just put in a couple of keywords, it'll find it. But in Chat GPT, it's like, well, let me give it a bunch of context also. So now I'm just typing the way my brain is thinking. But now I find myself going to Google and typing in just like I would in ChatGPT. And
Mm-hmm.
so I guess this is a theory of mine, but I think that is one of the reasons why YouTube is still such a strong player in like the search and content space,
Yeah.
is because they actually are more suited towards the natural language that we are now used to typing into ChatGPT and all of the other AI tools. And it's
And that
not
make
just like keyword, 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 let me
yeah.
give you facts.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I remember the days of when I would attend a conference and they're like, you need to keyword stuff everything.
Yeah,
Now, if you attend anything marketing based, they're like, do not stuff keywords.
right. Yeah, because it's really obvious
Yeah.
to Google the keyword stuffing. And but yeah, I mean, like I said, it's like everything is so much smarter now at just give me the context of what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give me keywords, just give me the context. ChatGPT can figure it out. Maybe asking a couple of questions. And I think Google is kind of the same way. And I also think people, the humans that are doing the searching are tired of looking through 5 different blog posts to find an answer to something because what they've already found was just kind of keywords without the real information.
Yep.
And so I think there's like a shift there in how people are using search to find things. But again, like it comes back to what you're talking about in your videos is just what's coming out of your mouth. It's the natural way of saying things, and that's the way that people are searching for things.
Yep.
So it's like it's a perfect fit.
I love that. And one of the things, because I've been doing a lot of research on how do you get found by AI and how do you get found in other ways and other such. And one of the number one ways is to have frequently asked questions on your website, because when you ask a question, or even in a blog or something, you have to have a question in there, because that's what AI is actually looking for.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes sense with YouTube, especially if they're transcribing and they're reading that, because anytime I've asked like I've been trying to find something, it's usually tutorial based or it's a curiosity based. So I'm asking a question, and it almost always takes me to a spot in a video that says, if you've ever wondered, how do I do this? And I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, that's exactly what I'm wondering.
Exactly
That
what I
makes
was
so much
wondering.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And I think that is I think it's such an easy thing to do when you're creating content, to just imagine, well, like this is what I want to say. Like this is what I'm trying to communicate here, like top 10 beaches to visit in February or something. Um, so this is the content I want to say, but for everything that you say, just think, what is the viewer going to be thinking? Like I always think of the yeah buts. Yeah,
Okay.
but I'm gonna have to take 3 planes to get there. Yeah, but I don't know, that's out of my budget. Like all of the yeah buts are great places to insert questions. You might be thinking, where can I get a direct flight to a beach? Like, and just answer those yeah buts that are naturally going to come up for everything you say. I think that's a really smart thing to do. And it's not even something you have to necessarily script
Mhm.
into your YouTube video.
Yeah. That's so smart, because again, every piece of marketing needs to break down an objection. And we're not talking about the big objections, but those micro objections that are preventing them from moving on to the next step. I think too often travel advisors or business owners as a whole are trying to solve the big objection with everything. And it's like,
Hmm.
no, it's just getting them to the next step. So,
Yeah,
again, like you just said, yeah, but I don't want to take multiple flights. So then to say, if you want to go to this destination, there's direct flights from here, 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 and here across the country,
right.
and rattle that off and answer those yeah buts. And because there may be some clients that are like, oh, well, I'm not close to there, but I know I can get a direct flight from here to that city. And then so
Hmm.
I can do it in 2 flights.
Yeah,
And so it's taking out those yeah buts. I
yeah,
love that.
yeah. And then you're kind of, I like to think of it as you're bringing up questions that your viewer might not even known they had. Because if this fictional piece of content we're now creating about top 10 beaches to visit in February, if my husband hates to fly and he's so annoying when he's like annoyed with flying. So that's my reason for wanting a direct flight. And so but I would have never necessarily thought about it until you bring up, look, you're going to have to take 2 flights and then a puddle jumper. I'd be like, no, I'm out. We're not doing that. Give me the direct flights. And
Mhm.
so it wouldn't necessarily have been something I thought of. Now you introduced it to me, and, introducing all of the other possible questions that I hadn't thought of yet. And remember, you're the expert. Like, you're the travel expert here. If you start introducing information that I didn't even know that I needed beyond just what I just searched for, like you're instantaneously building the trust and that expertise with me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why it's so important that it's not just putting out content for the sake of putting out content.
Hmm.
Yes, it's great to be discovered. Yes, it's great to be seen as the expert, but you also want to make sure there's a call to action in there. And it doesn't have to be, call me to book your next vacation. It can be, I totally get it. Trying to figure out which flight's direct, which flight is, you'll see things like you'll see things that's a direct flight. A direct and a direct nonstop are 2 different flights. They both have a single flight number. A direct flight can have a stop where that airplane comes down in another city. You just don't get to get off of the plane. And a
Hmm.
direct nonstop is where that plane goes up in the first city and lands in the second city. And if you need help clarifying that, then that's what I do for my clients. And it's really easy to get started if that's something. It's
Yeah.
not a hard pitch. It's just simply, that's what I clarify for my clients.
Hmm.
It can be something that simple to be able to help your clients.
Yeah, I love that. And there are, on YouTube, there are lots of different kind of calls to action that you can use for different, different results that you're trying to achieve as the marketer. Um, you can have a direct, like, call me if this is, I help people with this specific thing. But you also can, you can grow your email list. You can provide a lead magnet to get people onto your email list. Also, just getting people to watch another video of
Mhm.
yours. If you're researching these top 10 beaches in February, you're going to love this video about something, whatever resort, or, whatever you have on your channel that would be useful and beneficial for the viewer. Direct them to that video, invite them to hit subscribe. I specialize in beach vacations during the winter months or whatever. Like, maybe that's your unique thing. Or maybe you have a lot to say about that. That's a reason for me to hit subscribe, so that I can keep coming back to your channel. But even if you don't have a clear call to action of like, work with me, download my thing, book your travel with me right now today, just getting them to watch more of your content will help. Not just that person will watch more of your content, but it helps the algorithm get your content out to more and more people.
That's awesome. Awesome. So now I can imagine, as I'm hearing my own yeah buts from travel advisors right now, how long does a YouTube video have to be to do something?
Okay, well, it depends who you ask. I am an advocate for long form content on YouTube, which means horizontal content that is at least 3 minutes long, although I recommend at least 8 minutes, if you can, or longer. You can make content that's a couple hours long. I think that would be a great idea, to be honest with you. There are, YouTube has a short form component with YouTube Shorts, which are like Reels and TikToks. So those are vertical and 3 minutes or less. What I have found is, for business owners, unless you want to be an a daily content creator influencer, I recommend long form content because it lives on without you. You don't have to show up every day and like post to try to like go viral or get a million views to even be noticed. The content lives out there, and that's how it becomes the come to me platform, the come to you platform, because it's searchable, it's findable, and it's not just little snippet like entertainment content, which is what the short form content typically is in order to make it perform well. So I like to say 8 minutes, but anything over 3 minutes is technically considered long form on YouTube. But YouTube wants people to watch YouTube videos.
Mhm.
So the longer, and it's not like they don't want, it's not about the number of videos that their viewers watch, it's how long the viewers are watching. And so the longer your videos are, without adding fluff to like make them longer, but
Mhm.
the more watch time you generate, the faster your audience is going to grow, which means the more YouTube is actually going to be beneficial to your business. So I like to shoot for 8+ minutes for a long form video.
Okay, awesome. So I think there is a collective, oh, because 8 minutes is doable. When you started off, you're like, I'm a big fan of long form. I'm like, oh, like an hour every time. So, and then you're like, at least 3 minutes. I'm like, wait, what? That's long? So that's awesome to hear that first and foremost, because if you think of, I'm just thinking for the travel advisor listening right now, if you think of a conversation you've had with a client recently where they asked you one question, maybe you had to ask them a follow up for context. And by the time you finished just answering said question, you're probably in the 3 to 8 minute conversation period.
Yeah.
And so when you are doing a solo YouTube, obviously you're kind of playing both sides of the conversation. And you're going to do that by saying, you might be thinking, or I had a client once that asked me this. And then you're going to talk about it. And then you're going to say, but then this became the follow up question. So it's probably something that you're thinking of as well. And by the time you do that, you could very possibly be 3, 5, 8, 10 minutes just answering that question. And what I love about content that answers a question, again, I also want to be careful in the conversation that you don't want to give away the farm. And you don't want to, because you don't necessarily want the DIYers, but you want the ones that want to do enough research to be like, oh, I want to do this. But I love what they had to say. They sound like they know what they're talking about. And now my thought is gone. Poof, just gone. but yeah, chased a squirrel in the wrong direction. But it's that idea that when you have this content and you're creating it, you're able to answer a question. Oh, I know where I was headed. That somebody might be too embarrassed to ask. So there is questions that people are like, oh, I should know this already. Sometimes that's why they're Googling, because they're like, I either don't know who to ask, I don't know how to ask, or I'm embarrassed to ask. And so those become some really good starting points, because the way that you address that with not making it embarrassing, not making it demeaning, and really and truly having an authentic conversation, just saying, I've had other clients that have asked me this. So there's a good possibility it's something that you might be wondering as well. So one, now they feel included. They feel like, oh, I'm not alone. And better than anything, oh, they get me. Yeah. Okay. Because once somebody gets you, you're already like, ooh, let me lean in. And when you can do that, you again have broke down one of those minor or those mini objections, which is nobody's going to get me. Nobody's going to understand what I want. Nobody else has ever asked for. So the moment they see somebody who understands it, they're like, oh, they get me. And poof, you already fractured their objection shield.
Yeah. I love that. And I think, and I agree. I mean, if you think about what have you typed into ChatGPT lately? Like, there's a lot of things that like you're gonna go there first before you actually ask somebody. And I totally agree. And I also think that those are the kinds of topics that other people in your industry or in your like corner of the market might not be even thinking about it answering, but also like might not have the guts to do it. And I think also in like in the age of AI that we live in, the more human you are on camera, on video, the better. Which means not necessarily being perfect, not being mistake free, but being willing to be the human, show the humanness, answer the weird questions. I think that is going to go a really long way for years in the future.
Absolutely. And I promise you, if they are listening to me, they know perfection is not where we're at. Hence the fact I totally lost my train of thought a moment ago and had to wait for the train to come back around to the station again.
Exactly.
But the thing is that's also human.
Yeah.
And people respond to that. One, they know what they're going to get. But two, AI isn't going to do that. And right. I will also say, and you and I touched on this just a little bit before we started recording. Imposter syndrome is a huge struggle a lot of people have.
Yes.
Guess what? The imposter won't let imperfection happen. They will go back and they will re-edit it and everything else because they, God forbid, somebody see that they are in fact an imposter.
Right.
So when you do have that imposter syndrome and you're like, oh, but I screwed up, that's okay. Put it out there because that's actually authentic. That's actually the human. And it also gives other people permission to see that you're attainable, that you're reachable.
Hmm.
Because I don't know about you, but I've seen some influencers online or some business owners online. They are so completely perfect in everything they do
Yes.
that I'm like, oh no, that I would never be good enough to be their client.
Right.
You want to find that nice balance between approachability and expertise. And it's okay to
Exactly.
stumble in the process.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're totally right. And I think um I mean that is why of course I'm an advocate for being on video, being on camera, creating video content, video marketing in general is, it's like the next best thing to being in person where in person some people can kind of like get the vibe immediately, like, do I trust this person or not? Do they know what they're talking about or not? Online in text in a Instagram carousel, you can't really tell. I think in a long form video in particular, where you do see the humanness of somebody, it's so much easier to establish that trust. And being imperfection, being imperfect. See, look at me, I'm screwing up right now. Being imperfect is part of that.
Yeah. Uh, I had, I have an aunt and uncle, but when we were growing up and we would go to their house, we had to dress a certain way because my
Mm.
aunt's house was always so perfect. And I will to this day never forget when the phone call would come in that this aunt and uncle were coming over. And my mom would get off the phone because she'd be like, oh, that would be lovely. She would get off the phone. She's like, they'll be here in 30 minutes. And it was like panic. By the time they got to our house, the sweat, like when people talk sweatshops, that was my childhood when my aunt
Yes.
and uncle were coming over
Yeah.
because it was, and like, yeah, it was one of those things. And all I thought was, why?
Why?
As I've grown up, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
And
In my house, it was the same way, but it was with like my mom would fold laundry on the table, on the dining room table, which was right by where the laundry room was. If my grandmother was coming over, my mom would be like, "Oh, we got to put this laundry away." And I would always think, it's laundry. It's literally our clothing. And in my mind, I was like, Grandma's not going to care if our laundry is out. What the heck? But there's definitely, this might be like a generational thing, but there's definitely some like perfection,
yeah,
make sure everything looks perfect so that I don't know why. Like you
right.
said, why? Why
Yeah,
does it have to be perfect?
yeah,
But we're beyond that now. We
yeah,
can be imperfect, imperfectly
exactly.
imperfect.
Recently, I was going to go meet up with my local in mastermind group, and I had messaged them, oh, I'm going to be late. I'm still in PJs. Like, I got to have a shower. And they're like, I'm still in PJs. And they're like, you can come in your PJs. I'm like, no, they're from last night. I need a shower. And so then I made the comment to my husband. He's like, oh, you told them? And I looked at him and I said, why would I ever have friends that I couldn't tell that to?
Yeah.
Like, these are all business owners in my community. And I'm like, I don't have the energy to have friends that I can't tell that to.
Right.
And I think that's a huge part even of my business, is that that's the type of energy, if you will, that I bring into the business,
Hmm.
that you're going to get what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And then when I go on the road and I do speaking engagements and I go to places and people meet me in person, one of the first things I hear is, you're the same person.
Yeah.
To which I always respond, I'm like, yeah, I don't have energy to be somebody else. Like, I legit don't. And it really makes me realize that when people are putting out content and that they're doing YouTube or they're doing their Facebooks or they're doing whatever, they think they have to be somebody else.
Hmm.
And I think it's so important to understand you've got to be you. So,
Yeah. I think um the sooner you are just you on camera, the better. But I also think that, no one's born knowing how to talk to a camera. And so, like, I think, I'm not a psychologist, but my hypothesis is our brain, we grow up seeing people on TV, on camera, on like, the shows we watch are perfect. The lighting's perfect. They look perfect. They're all beautiful. They're all thin. They know their lines. Like even the like news people are reading lines. Everything is perfect. Hair's perfect. Makeup perfect, right? And we're just like programmed that way from the very beginning,
Yep.
that what we see on the screen is perfection.
Yep.
And the thing is, like, we don't see the behind the scenes. We don't
Yep.
see the screw ups of their lines.
Yep.
We might see bloopers or something, and
Right.
that's just like, oh, that's just funny.
Yep.
But we are not cinematographers. We're not actors. We're not anchor people. We're just business people. And so I think it's natural to go, okay, what is the hat I need to put on to create this video
Yep.
so that people respect me in the same way they respect the news person and the, I don't know, whoever's in the movies or whatever.
Right.
And I think your brain can stop you from doing anything
Yep.
because you're like, well, I don't know. I don't know how to do that. I'm not that person. And so I agree. Our brain tries to make us a different person because we weren't born with these skills. And then you act different on camera and then it comes off as weird and awkward. And I think it's one of the best compliments when you run into somebody in person and they're like, oh, I watched your video or whatever. And you don't have to think about, oh, well, what's the person I was in that video? How
Right.
do I show up now? It's just like show up authentically in person and on camera,
Yep.
and you'll be fine.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And it's so funny because those examples you were giving, my husband's really deep into watching TV shows from the 80s, which in the 80s looked like perfection. In
Mm-hmm.
2026 with HD TV, that is not perfection.
Right.
The sound effects that they use, like all the special effects. And yet back then, that would have been the standard. And
Yeah.
so there's not perfection even in that. And I also love the news anchor because as soon as you say news anchor, I don't think of any news anchors, but you show me a video on YouTube or on Facebook or whatever where the anchors are sitting around and something goes sideways.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Like, and like you said, it's a blooper or whatever, but it happened live on air.
Mm-hmm.
And those are my favorite parts. But then also, too, psychologically, you become more connected to those people
Right.
because of the way that they recover from it. To me,
Mm-hmm.
says so much. Or
Yeah.
when there's something difficult going on in the planet and some of their real humanness comes out.
Mm-hmm.
When a bull sugar honey iced tea falls out or something like that. And it's like, oh, so you do see through it. Like, and it just,
Mm-hmm.
and so I appreciate that in terms of just that human to human factor.
Exactly.
So now YouTube, a lot of people will talk about YouTube as a way to generate money from ad spend or like to get money from ads and things like that. And a lot of people believe that's the only reason to use
Mm-hmm.
YouTube is that you're going to become this YouTube star and other such. But for the average business owner, is that why they would use YouTube, or is that even something to factor into a conversation?
Yeah, I wouldn't really factor it in. It could be a revenue source for you, but it's not the goal. It's not the target. The target would be to bring somebody in as a client and do what it is that you do in your business. And so, which is why I believe, heavily in building your email list and having you're showing up on YouTube, but now for the people who are like, yeah, this is my person. When I book my trip, I'm going to go to this person. Now you're in their inbox, in their email inbox, giving them more resources, more content, more like, hey, there's a sale to book your cruise before whatever day. Call me today so we can get it booked. Like you can do that in your email for the people who raise their hand and were like, yes, this is the person I want to work with when I'm ready. And so that's the way that I believe that is most effective for business owners on YouTube is use it to build your list, use it to build your audience, but ultimately get them to your list so that they become your clients and customers.
Awesome. I so agree. I know I've seen other business owners that are like, no, I just need to get to this many people and this many watch hours so that I can get monetized. And for me, I don't necessarily want to race to my numbers because I want to make sure that the ones that are following me
Yes.
are actually going to lead to becoming a client potentially.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so if you have no interest in selling travel, I don't really need you to follow me.
Right. Exactly. And that's a huge mistake that I see is like, well, I want to look legit, so I need to have more subscribers. I want to get monetized because we hear people talking about getting monetized. I mean, if you started a brand new channel and got, your 1,000 subscribers today and watch hours, you might make $1. Like it's not, that's the threshold to get into the partner program. But that's the bottom. That's the bottom of the partner program. So it's not like overnight you're going to start making hundreds or thousands of dollars from your content if you're just at the very bottom minimum of the partner program. So I think you have to consider that. But also, like you said, who are you attracting?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people spend money on ads to boost their subscriber count, but if those people, it could actually do the opposite of what
Yep.
you wanted to do because now you're putting out your travel content. The people who are subscribed to your channel aren't watching it because depending on how you tried to get those subscribers, they might not be people. They
Right.
might just be bots.
Yep.
And so YouTube is like, oh, this brand new video that Glenda put out is not getting any views. So
Yep.
it must be bad. It must be
Right.
the content is bad. We're not going to get it out to more people.
Yep.
And the content might be great. It's just the people it initially went out to, the way the algorithm works, went out to people that didn't click play or clicked play and then didn't watch the whole thing.
Yep.
And that's bad. That'll do the opposite for you on YouTube than what you want it to do. And especially in business, you don't have to have like a certain number of subscribers to get a client. So I do understand there's a little bit of a like a vanity metric thing. I think like 1,000 subscribers on YouTube kind of feels like, okay, they're legit, they know what they're talking about. But at the same time, there's people with millions of subscribers that don't know what they're talking about and are
Yep.
probably aren't even human too. There's
Yep.
plenty of AI channels.
Oh,
Um,
heavens. Yep.
so it's I get the wanting to have this number of subscribers and being monetized, but as a business owner, I think it's not where I would put my focus.
Yep. I have to be honest, my socials and my YouTube and other such, the numbers are not high. And yet when I get somebody that starts following me and I look at it and I'm like, they're not in travel. Like, I don't see any element that they would be a possible client for me. I'm like, oh, I even had a week not too long ago where I got like 10 people on my Instagram in the matter of like 24 hours. Not one of them was travel. And I was
Mm.
like, what are they doing here? Now, within a few more days later, they were all gone again. Thank heavens. But then it took a while. And then I got another one, but it was a travel advisor. And I was like, yay.
A
And to
person.
me, it's not about how many. I want to know
Mhm.
how good they are.
Yeah,
And it's just, to me, I would rather have a quality following than a quantity because I
exactly.
want to make sure, and it's not, for me, it's not even just about, oh, let's make a sale.
Mhm.
I want to make sure that if I am having great content, which obviously, but, but the thing is though, is that I want to make sure that the people that are following me that engage with it and they're like, oh my goodness, I learned something. The algorithm will then tell somebody else who needed to know about it. And so
Exactly.
when I get all of these followers that are never going to be my client, the algorithm can never help the person that needs it. And the
Right.
reason I do put out content is, yes, so I can be found. Yes, so I can sell eventually, but ultimately so I can help somebody.
Right.
And I need the algorithm to work in my favor by saying, oh, all of these travel advisors are engaging. Let's see who else is a travel advisor out there and show it to them. And so
Exactly.
when you're so focused on generic content, so focused on just let's bring in the bots, let's bring it, the algorithm's like, I don't know who to show you to.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it really is kind of like a snowball in a way, and the algorithm is based on viewer behavior. So it's in like it sometimes feels like me as the creator, I upload a video and like YouTube's gonna go find viewers for me. But it's the other way around. It's more like Glenda opened up YouTube and YouTube is going to find, what are we putting on Glenda's homepage? Because what do we think Glenda's going to watch?
Right.
And so if Glenda has been researching travel stuff, right, then YouTube knows what she's interested in right now. And which is why when you go to YouTube and search for something and watch a video on like some random thing like meatloaf recipe or something, and that's not what you normally watch,
Right.
the next time you open up YouTube, you get meatloaf recipe. Oh, look at that. And it's maybe a different video from the same creator you watched,
Yeah.
or a different video from a different creator, but it's the same topic. And because the algorithm is like, oh, what is Glenda going to watch today? Let's give her some options based on your viewer behavior of the actual viewers, which is why it's so important to not have bots, buy bots. Don't go to like Fiverr for like how to grow my YouTube channel, because it's just going to be fake people. And same thing with even using YouTube advertising just to gain subscribers. Who knows where who they are, if they're really even interested in your content.
Exactly. I laugh when you're talking about when what Glenda's interested in. Glenda would have to confess right now, it will be horses and watercolor.
Ooh, okay.
Because I have discovered when I am super stressed, if I watch a watercolor tutorial as I fall asleep, I have the best sleep ever.
Ooh, I love that.
And so now every time I open my YouTube, for a while there, it was solely watercolor. But I was telling you earlier about this Katie Van Slyke with her horses and what she's doing with YouTube right now. So I am getting more horses and foaling and other such. But I got to say, my YouTube is cranking it right now. It is like the happiest place on earth for me at the moment.
I love that. You know what I love watching before bed is candy making videos.
Oh,
It's very similar to watercolor. It's very
right.
soothing
Yeah.
because you watch them make these candies where the candy has like a design, but like
Yeah.
you don't know what the design is until
Right.
they actually make it, and it's very soothing.
Right. Well, see, tonight, the day that we're recording this, I am taking my first of 8 weeks of watercolor classes.
Nice.
And I'd taken a couple of paint nights with her, and I said to her, should I be in the beginner or should I be in the intermediate? And she said, I think you're above the beginner, but the intermediate's going to be a struggle. So I am hoping I have like osmosisly ingrained some of this watercolor technique into my brain before I go into
Yes.
class tonight.
I love it. I love it. That's so
So
cool.
So YouTube Shorts, basically those would be the reels that you would use TikTok or Facebook. Can you use the same software to edit them, or does that screw things up with YouTube?
Um, like Instagram and TikTok, YouTube wants you to create shorts with YouTube and
Oh,
edit them that way, but I never know how they actually know, because you can create it somewhere else and just upload it. My caution with shorts is it's not it it my caution with shorts is just like the idea of like doing ads or paying for someone to grow your channel to get the subscriber number. You have to ask, who is this attracting? Same thing with shorts. Who is this attracting? Because short form content is basically a daily content machine
okay.
that you have to keep feeding. And so if you want to keep making daily content, if you really enjoy doing that, then you would want to do shorts because you're going to attract an audience of people who want short content.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't enjoy doing short form content, but you're doing it because you think you have to, or because everyone else is, or because I'm doing it on Reels and TikTok, and so I might as well throw it on YouTube, I just wouldn't do it at all, because then you're just attracting an audience of people who just want more shorts.
Okay.
And so if you want eyes on your long form content, don't make short form content. And if you want to grow your business with YouTube, you want eyes on your long form content.
Okay.
So nobody likes to hear me say just don't do shorts.
No, I'm loving this right now.
But in my view, I think the answer, especially as a business owner who probably doesn't want to create daily content, you have a business to run and a life to live. I think it's something that you can skip. You don't have to do it, just like you don't have to do live streams on YouTube. You don't have to do it just because it's a feature of YouTube.
Okay. That excites me on levels I can't fully describe to you, because I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm as guilty as anybody listening right now but I'm falling behind. If I'm going to do YouTube, then don't I need to do shorts? But now you've just prompted a new question in my brain. So, because I've seen some people take their YouTube, particularly when they do it as a podcast, similar to what this is here, and they will take that YouTube and they will pull shorts out of it. Would that possibly screw up the search then? Like, if you're pulling your best nugget out of the YouTube to make a short with it, would that possibly then make it so that people get sent to the short rather than the long one?
I guess it's possible if you have it optimized for a specific search term. I wouldn't like that. To me, that doesn't sound like a viable thing.
Okay.
It doesn't, because usually something that's clipped from long form, that is not ideal short form content.
Okay, perfect.
Unless your Diary of a CEO, or like those like big podcasts where the short form clips they create are, first of all, produced by a team of people.
Massive media teams.
and like those things are designed for short form content, not just, oh, well, he sounds smart here, so we'll just clip this and put it on TikTok.
Yeah.
And so usually, unless it's really engineered for short form, it's just like, this is just a clip from a long form. No one's going to watch this.
Okay.
So like there's that component to it. And it's possible that a short could, but you can link a short to a long form video, but I don't think that is, that's not like a strong traffic strategy. I mean,
Okay.
it's a feature, but it's not exactly a traffic strategy. I wouldn't worry too much about that. I would be more worried, I guess, for lack of a better term, about who the short is attracting. Is it a short form viewer only? And are they going to watch your long form content in the future? Which again, as I was saying, when that person opens up YouTube next time and they see this long form video, they don't click on it, and YouTube's like, oh, well, it must be it's bad. Right. And it could be great. It's just in front of the wrong person who somehow found you through shorts. And I don't know. I always like to say, and I tell this to my Video Brand Academy members who ask me about shorts. I think I get this question during every meetup. If and when there is a viable short strategy for business owners that doesn't like run you into the ground with daily content, I would be the first to tell you. Because I would be doing it. And when I uncover it, I'll figure it out and I'll let you know, Glenda. I'll let everybody know. But right now, long form is what drives traffic to my landing pages and to my, courses and programs and stuff.
I love that. So if you were listening right now, this is officially your permission slip from Meredith.
Yes.
That in February of 2026, which is when we're recording this, you do not have to do shorts in order to be successful on YouTube. I will cash that permission slip every day this month. So
I love that. I am going to do a shorts experiment, by the way. And maybe your viewers would be interested in this, but I want to do like 90 days of shorts where I am talking about one specific topic, like a series,
okay.
and have I invite anyone to try this experiment, by the
Yeah.
way. Have one lead magnet or freebie where the only place you talk about it is in your shorts.
Okay.
And then you will have the data to
Mhm.
prove, do shorts work for my business or not? And you might have like, well, I gained this many subscribers, I got this many views. Okay, but did it work for the business? Did it actually grow your list? And I'm very curious. I think 90 days, if I give it 100% of my effort and remove my own like biases about shorts, I think if I go forward with it like I actually want it to succeed,
Yeah.
I think I'll have some really concrete data to show what works, what doesn't, is it worth it, is it not worth it.
And this is what I love about Meredith. So Meredith and I have known each other for a while, but right there, what you just said, it's getting past vanity metrics. How
Mm-hmm.
many people downloaded that freebie from there? Because if you're not getting them to opt in to get on your email list, YouTube, as brilliant as it is still borrowed space.
Right.
You've got to get them on your email. The email is where you can take it to the next level. And so if they're not taking that first itty bitty action from it, is it actually working? And so it's not just the vanity. It's not just, oh my goodness, look how many watch hours, look how many this, look how many that, but did they opt in? And I think
Mm-hmm.
that is such a good place actually to leave this episode. And I will definitely keep you all posted when Meredith does her challenge.
When, not if, but when. Okay, I'm
When.
gonna put it in my calendar now. Now that this is going public.
The good news is this episode's not going to come out for a while. So you got a little bit
Good.
of, got a little time.
Good.
But in the meantime, obviously, we're going to link everything up in the show notes. We're going to link up your YouTube and other such so the travel advisors can go and find you. But in the meantime, if they want to know more, how do they find you?
The best place to find me is YouTube, for sure. I'm Meredith Marsh on YouTube. I'm pretty easy to find. And the top of my YouTube channel has a couple of pinned videos for anyone who is, new to creating content in general, like new to actually hitting record and talking to a camera. Or if you already are making content, but you want to grow your audience and actually generate leads, there's some content that's kind of pinned right at the top of my channel for you. That's the best place to find me. There's a bunch of freebies in there. Just, take your pick.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you so very much. I am going to warn you when you get into Meredith's YouTube, she has something called the spider web effect that you're going to want to know more about. And she uses it beautifully. I am aiming to have that in place by the middle of the year for our business. But again, thank you so much, Meredith. This has been wonderful.
Thank you so much for having me. I love chatting with you.
Awesome. Until next time, guys, happy selling.